That means I love you. Welcome to the Nyumba Upendo Show, the House of Love on WNOV 860 AM. I'm your host, Kweku Amawasi, formerly known as Ramel Smith, better known as the Blacksmith. Sitting here with my man Byron the Q. What's good, buddy? Slow motion. And then the man behind the scene, Jermaine. What's going on right out?
Yabba dabba do.
Hey, listen, I'm without my co-host today, and I told her to stay home for a reason because I got a surprise for y'all today. But I cannot start the show until we do our two P's. People say, "What's the two P's?" Well, the first is permission, as in the tradition of our ancestors. It is customary that I get permission from my elder to speak. I've been granted that permission by my mother, and she also granted the second P, which is a prayer. And she said, "Lord, please allow this show to be able to bless the men because this is what it's about today. This is a man show in honor of Eric Vaughn, Keon Jackson Malone. We're going to talk about some things, and that's actually the title of the show. We got to talk about it. I always dedicate this show to an ancestor, like who is a person who I want the spirit. And it's two men that I use. And that's Dr. Oscar James Cooper. He was a physician, got his PhD or his MD in 1917 from Howard University, went on to be a physician for over 50 years in the Philadelphia community. And the other one, which is near and dear to all of our heart, is a brother named Dr. Ken Hill. He actually pledged our fraternity and went over on November 19th, 1993. But in 2021, unfortunately, he passed away. He's an anesthesiologist, got his degree from UW-Milwaukee, his medical degree from Southern Illinois University. It's always hard when you have a brother and then you see him go. He had a beautiful wife, 3 children. And so, they still live life after that. And, we're there for the funeral and afterwards, but they still deal with it. So we honor him and Dr. Oscar James Cooper, and that's the show who we want. I want to give tribute to Tiffany Terry, Danielle Ramey, and Teresa Langdon. They was on the show last week, and Alicia, my sister, wanted me to make sure that we just shouted them out. But when I was on that show, we were talking about mothers who had lost their children, and it was a difficult show for me because I lost a child, and I'm trying to be the host, but listening to them, it touched me in two ways. One, it touched me as far as like losing a child, but two, it was some things I felt with my wife that I didn't even recognize, but listening to them. And you talk about piercing your soul as far as, your failures open up. Sometimes you think you're doing the right thing. You think you're doing it and it's not there. And so just this past week, I got a lineup for y'all today. I'm about to introduce them. So Milwaukee, get ready. What we talking about, we just had we belong to Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and we just celebrated our Achievement Week. Our fraternity has been around for 114 years. But in this Achievement Week, what we do is, we try to make sure we go out into the community and serve. We had what we call a Brother You Are On My Mind on Monday. Tuesday, we started this sock drive where we collect the socks. I talked about that at the WNOV event, and we collected over 650 socks, coats, and hats to be able to deliver to the repairers of the breach. Then we got together for church service over at New Hope Baptist Church. Pastor Ivy, who's also a Q, celebrated 30 years over at that church. And then we went over to Brother Ken Jen like place of Serenity Inn, and all the men got together. And these are men who are in recovery, Jermaine. And we started talking, and it's amazing. Like, you think you're going someplace to uplift somebody, but it's a mutual strengthening and a bonding. And when we got together to talk, we said, you know what we need to do? We need to make sure we talk about it more amongst ourselves, amongst the men. So many things we don't say because of ego, because of what we think other people would do. But it's beautiful when you have a group of men that you can come together, that's strong men, but you can be vulnerable. And because in that vulnerability, you have strength and then a chance to get better. So I got on the show today, man, I don't even know which order to go because it's like I can't go wrong. This is like when you got an all-star lineup. First person I'm going to do is Rick Shannon. Rick Shannon is from Racine, but he went to UW Whitewater. And when I first went to Whitewater, you grab a job, and Rick worked at the job with me. And you talk about a person who like took you under his wing like you was like a family member. He didn't even know me like that, but he was like, I'm gonna make sure I show you how to get this done. He was instrumental in me being a member of this fraternity, things I'll never forget. And he's been my insurance man, I think, for the last 20 years over at Rick Shannon American Family Insurance. Welcome to the show, Rick.
Thank you, brother, for having me.
All right. And then I'm gonna go with our brother Darian Luckett. I've known Darian since I was 14 when I dropped my sister off to go to UW Whitewater. He was there, and he was a brother who's been in my life, like I said, since I was in high school. He saw me go through some of those awkward years. Helped teach me how to drive, would take me out, would give me advice with the ladies, things of that nature, because I didn't have a biological big brother. And so, and he's doing great things. He's not a stranger to the show. He's been here before. His work is so good that he's not only working in Wisconsin, but he's over Illinois too. He's been very beneficial and influential with getting a lot of minorities, specifically ladies, different loans and grants to be able to start their businesses. Brother Darian Luckett, welcome to the show.
Thanks, God. Thank you.
And then I had to say the OG for last. And Derrick Washington, if anybody knows him, I'm gonna say three things that just encaptures him. Man. Like he is the epitome of a man. When we talk about a man's man, this is him. You see him with his wife and with his children. Man, you just see like how it's supposed to be done. And then you see him, he was a sheriff. You were talking about Sister Danita Bell. And he don't look like he retired, but he retired from there, and he's doing his thing. But not only that, he's a Hall of Fame, Wisconsin Hall of Fame coach. He's been over at Brown Deer working with basketball, working with track, was a part of their state championships. I believe you got two of them over there.
Two of them, yeah.
And he still do great work in the community. And this is the thing. He pledged, I want to say 1978.
Yes, sir.
But in 2025, he was the Omega Man of the Year for our chapter. So that lets you know, man, after all these years of service, like people say, oh, this is a college thing. It's like, no, man, like we do stuff because it's from the heart. So, Brother Derrick, I want to thank you for coming to the show, too.
Thanks for having me, my brother. Appreciate you.
All right, so, I had a lot of stuff that I had, but I'm going to kind of go right to my questions. I had some stuff I was going to talk about before. But one of the things our fraternity do is on Wednesday, we have what's called Brother, You Are On My Mind. And it's like you're supposed to reach out to 4 brothers and just say, hey, what's going on? So I just want to ask each of you, and you can kind of answer in your own way in whichever order. Why is that concept of Brother, You Are On My Mind helpful to you, and how has it been beneficial to you? Go ahead, Luck. I see you ready.
It's been very, very beneficial to receive the calls, but also to make the calls.
Yes, sir.
Especially, reaching out to brothers for myself that just hasn't been around. We all know life be life and situations come up. And as Black men, sometimes, we can feel invisible and like no one cares. And some of the calls that I've made just to hear the excitement and the joy that a brother receive, they give you when you make that call. But at the same time, I'm not exempt from life either. And so
we all go through it.
We go through it. And this one brother, I just kind of chuckled. It's John Odom.
Every Wednesday.
I'm going to get a call or I'm going to get a text. And I'm
just doing a Q check on you.
Doing the Q check. And, and it feels great because, again, it just lets you know that the brotherhood is real.
Yeah.
That they don't let no one, they don't let me fall through the cracks.
Yes, sir.
They don't they help me remain relevant, and so in return, I have to do the same thing, make those calls, because I just definitely want brothers to know, regardless of where you are in life, that you're still important. We need each other to survive, and so that's what it means to me.
Hey, I'm gonna change it up just a little bit for you, Brother Derrick Washington, because you've been around for a while, so you've had a lot of brothers you see come and go. A lot of brothers who you was here, you seen literally move and whatnot like that. Yes. How is it important for you for something like that to be able to stay in contact with those brothers who you once had close proximity with, but now has moved away?
Yeah, and for me, just to piggyback off of that, I call the brothers those ones you just mentioned.
Yeah.
I check on them to see how they doing. I kind of miss those brothers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you've been around. They've been around doing some great things here with us at Kappa Phi, and now they're moved because of the weather or their job, whatever the case may be. And so when we talk about brothers on our mind on Wednesdays, I reach out to those brothers because the ones here, I hear from older I see them all the time, right? And then I go visit some brothers that can't move. They like Brother Tango, for instance, you kind of go make sure I go see him, those types of things. So I
Brother White,
Brother White, yes, you just make sure I go and talk to those brothers. So that's what. Thank you.
And see, and Jermaine was kind of asking this question, but see, that's what I love about it, because like when you talk about church and you talk about the sick and shut in, who's going to visit, that brotherhood is like just another insulation for you and support. And so, Rick, I'm gonna ask you the same thing. Why is something like this important for you to be able to have brothers that you can reach out to and people reach out to you?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that when people reach out to me, it just makes me realize that I'm not a forgotten person.
Yeah.
I'm still relevant in somebody else's life, and that's important to me. As far as for me reaching out to other brothers, I know back in the day, once we crossed those burning sands, once we went over, we was always told that the pledging is just beginning.
Yeah.
Now, this is back in the day now.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Pledging is just beginning. I just crossed. I'm done with this. Yeah. And what they're trying to put in our mind is that you always got to work for making salvation. Having that friendship in your life, it has to be maintained. It's a lot of work in that. You don't just, hey, brother, how you doing? And you go by your day. It is a constantly trying to be involved in their lives, even though they may not want to be in your life, but that's what that brotherhood is always about, always checking on them, always seeing how they're doing, because we do know that, from the outside, a person can look well. He can present a false narrative that he's doing well. But when you have that deep conversation, some things come to light. And the only way that you can have that deep conversation is to continue to be in that person's life.
Yeah, and these are not so much questions, but a conversation, as you said. I think of like just recently with Nishan Marlin, the cowboy that died by suicide. I think about how many people on that team was looking at him and saying, "Man, this dude just scored a touchdown on Monday. Right. He got to be on top of the world." And then to hear that, but it was somebody who I think also too be like, "Man, I knew he was struggling. I didn't do this, or I didn't say this," and now that guilt comes in and stuff like that. I guess what if you look at stuff like that, what is something, again, just a conversation, not even a question, but what is something like you wish like you could tell your younger self now? Like, when you look at him, he's so young, didn't know what life was, and like if he could have had this advice to go through, because we all go through those tough period in times, but we had the perseverance to stick it through. What would you tell your younger self?
I think for me, it goes back to relationships, and I'm talking about romantic relationships. That I would tell my younger self is that, hey, enjoy the person that you're with. And as long as you're with that person, treat that person as though that is the one. And only until you've discovered that she is not the one, then you have that conversation that you move on. But you always have that connection that you don't want to hurt anyone. And that after that relationship ends, that it can still be a friendly relationship. Because I know back in the day, boy, I did some things that I'm embarrassed by.
You won't want done to your daughter,
right? I don't want that. So it's just being upfront and honest with someone.
No.
Yeah, some things.
Anybody else? Because that's a big one. What would you tell your younger self?
For me, I'm not too handy when it comes to fixing things, right? And so my younger self, I had an uncle, man, my father's older brother, and he used to always, when he had big jobs, doing driveways, making porches and things of that nature, plumbing and things of that nature, he used to always call myself and my brother. And and me being a young guy, I want to hang out with my friends, you know what I mean? I don't want to do this, so I'm just working, right? I'm not paying attention to how he's measuring, what he's doing. I'm not paying attention to any of that, right? And now I have a house, you know what I mean? And I can think about all the things, how much money I could have saved my lovely wife, because I know she's listening. I could have saved my lovely wife and myself just by not by paying attention to that younger self. So I would tell anytime
that's a big one.
Anytime somebody brings you along to do something, right? Pay attention to the details.
Pay attention to the detail. I look at you like I'm nervous now.
What I would tell my younger self is be content. And in life at that moment. Listen to those, listen to your parents. Listen to the older people that's imparting wisdom because I could have saved a lot of money. I could have had less stress, less heartache. Giving my mom, grandmother heart. Just being upset for just because I wasn't listening. And my uncles, they would always impart manly wisdom to me about being a man and taking life serious and understand finances and just listen and understand that, especially to the black men. Anytime older black man is trying to impart some wisdom to a young brothers, just listen, because he's giving you information from whence the road he traveled.
Okay, you just segued this, Byron. I want you to get on here because he one of the younger brothers and whatnot like that. But what would you tell your younger self at this time right now?
I can't tell them to invest in Bitcoin, can I?
You can be more financially literate, no doubt about it.
It probably would just be preparation for sure. I know in college, even though you in college to better yourself in your future, I feel like some of the time I was just living in the moment, and it wasn't as much about what I'm gonna do later, preparing myself for later. Am I even gonna like what I'm gonna do later? So really just to take your time and really strategize and prepare for what you want to do, what you want to be, because life come at you fast. So
and they come fast. And so I look at Byron, then I look at us, and I think like we have a responsibility for that next generation.
Yes.
So we're gonna get into like a real question right now. Just say, what has happened to your body that you didn't think was ever gonna happen to your body being a young man, that you didn't had to kind of deal with? Like I did put myself out there real quick. Like I remember when I was young, people be like, "Oh, Atomic Dog, hey man, go hop, go set it out." And now whenever the sun come on, everybody be like, "Sit down, don't go," because my Achilles done popped 3 times. And it's like, you think your body is indestructible. You still think, because your mind says, I can still do this. Yeah. But your body constantly telling you that. And it's like, it still ain't got through in my head and whatnot like that, because your body tells you you can't do what you used to do, even though you think you can. And I wish I would have understood that more growing up, so I would knew how to phase into a different thing, saying, you can't be this young one forever. We know in sports, they always say Father Time is undefeated. But I be thinking I could defeat him, and he be showing me why he undefeated.
Right, yeah.
Well, for me, I'll go first on this one. Both of my knees are replaced. So, I never thought for one moment that I would have to replace my knees. And I think about when I was young, all those things I've done, coming up, I said, man, I could have managed that a little bit better. Yeah. Just a little bit better. And maybe, just maybe I could have held on to my knees just a little longer. But just didn't happen that way. So my knees.
So that's coming. Is that inevitable for everybody? I mean, especially for those who are athletic and been moving around. Do you think that's just
it's a possibility? If you played sports, if you did a lot of pounding on your knees and you're on those joints like that, it's inevitable. And if you're still doing it, right, probably so.
I know, Rick.
Well, for me, first of all, I never had any broken bones or anything like that. For me, it's more or less on the.
So that's that man stuff right there.
The physical exercising and that stuff. Because all my life, I think I've been in my mind in pretty good shape. However, as you do things like you're getting to the habits of your drinking and all that, your body changes. And one day, man, I just happened to just look in the mirror, and I did not like what I seen. I this big old stomach hanging over me, and I just didn't like it. And so
you had the Dunlap.
I mean, I had to get in the gym. I had to get in the gym. And so now, being in the gym as much as I am, there's so many health benefits to you recognizing that your body is a telltale sign, and you got to listen to your body. You got to see your body, because, that body that I was looking at was high blood pressure. It was my heart health, and a whole number of different factors that me going into the gym has reversed a lot of that.
Hey, listen, man, we've been talking. We done went past the time. Hey, listen, we got to do a commercial break, but hey, we're going to come back. We just talking about, we got to talk about it, talking about men's health. We do the parity with mental health and physical health is all one and the same. So come on, Black, with us. We're going to be back on WNOV 860 AM 106.5. Welcome back to the Nyumba Upendo Show, the House of Love on WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. I am your host, Kweku. I see in here with Rick Shannon, Darian Luckett, Derrick Washington. Man, we just talking about, we got to talk about it. We talking about men's health and everything like that. And it was funny because we was talking like sometimes over the break, you be having better conversation, here. But I think one of the things that got me is like, you was talking, Rick, about like, man, I had the same situation with my uncle, and it's amazing how so many of our stories overlap. When I asked y'all about like the stories about what would you tell to your younger self, I had 3 things. I said, women are to be loved and not sexual objects. That was my first one. And then it's like, don't be afraid to let your light shine. And then the other one said, don't change the essence of who you are, because I think that's what made me, even my mistakes and whatnot like that. But when I think about that, and this is where I want us the conversation to go, I think about like how the men in my life kind of shaped some of my thoughts. And my dad would always tell me, because I had a bad anger problem, he said, it don't take but one mistake to ruin your whole life.
Yeah.
And even though he died almost 20 years ago, it's amazing to me how that still rings in my head. It was like he gave me a gift that would never stop. So just curious, like what's some of the wisdom and jewels that either your father figure gave you that still resonates with you?
Well, I'll go. I had my 4 horsemen, I call them. My dad, my brother, my frat brother Leroy Freeman, father-in-law / father-in-law, and my Uncle Fred Lawrence. I might get emotional. But anyway, anytime I had a situation, and they were all different in their way they gave me the wisdom. So I had the 4 horsemen. So when the situation came up, I said, which horseman am I going to call to talk to about this, right? And so they all did something. My dad always talked about taking care of your wife and your family, that kind of thing. So if it was a family thing, that's where him, right? My brother, he when you had problems with your children, and what kind of love, how do you love them when you
want
to? And he loved his children so much, man. So, and my, Leroy,
Brother
Freeman, right? Yeah. He was my frat brother before he was my father-in-law. Yeah. Right. And so the professional side, right? As being a leader, taught me how to lead people. Because he was a principal. When you have these what do you say? How do you do it? And then my Uncle Fred, man, oh man, I can't even, man, he taught me how to save money, man. He taught me
the Swiss Army knife.
Yeah. Tow a car with a rope. All these different types of things, man. So I called them my 4 horsemen, man. I like and when that. I lost my Uncle Fred, man, I said, man, now who I call?
And see, that's the conversation, because, I look at that, and it's so funny because I talked about, like, I had a spiritual father. His name was Quilla Harris. He passed away. And then my father passed away. My stepdad passed away. My father-in-law passed away. And you'd be like, well, where do I go? So you always reach. And that's why I think my father's words is like, those are the things that stay in my mind. I look at like my old coaches, and I know you was a coach, and it was like the stuff that they imparted on me, I use it. But you miss something when those people are going to have them real-time conversations.
For me, growing up as a kid, I didn't have a lot of positive men in my life that I could look up to and wanted to be like them. And so, and I'm always a person that I look at a person and I see them, and if I like what I see, then I could, take from that person. So I remember going through college, and it wasn't until after I graduated that I seen how the men of Omega Psi Phi lived, how they treated people, how they had a different perspective on life than how I grew up. And I remember being in Madison.
Wait, let me actually, because so many people say that, like, I can't do this because I didn't see it. What was the thing for you not to gravitate towards the negative, but to look for something positive and to see it and say, that's what I want to do? Because we can use the other excuse so easily.
Right. So for me, when I grew up in Racine, I would say at the time, I had, first of all, my aunt and uncle raised me, and we were on the middle class level, right? And so I seen that middle class and what it could do for someone. And I also seen the other end, because most of my friends wasn't in that middle class, right? But outside of that, it was just me. And there was still a lot of things that my uncle and aunt did not have, right? And then on the other end, I could see that while we were in that middle class, that boy, did they struggle. They struggle a whole lot, right? And so I knew, even though I didn't have that positive, because there were some things in my household where my uncle and I really didn't. He did a lot for me, but there was a lot of hidden stuff that wasn't right, right? Yeah. And so I didn't look at him up to him when I became a man, because then I knew and truly knew what a man should have been to me and some of the advice that he should have been giving me, right? And so I knew some of the stuff by looking in what I didn't want to be like, right? But at the same time, I knew what Rick Shannon should have been, or what I thought he would be, right? But I didn't see any of that. I didn't get a lot of positive influence that say that's it, until I graduated, moved to Madison. There was two brothers that stand out in mind to me.
Charlie Brown
and Chuck Peavy.
Oh yeah, Chuck Peavy.
Those two brothers stood out to me from the standpoint that they were both married, had beautiful houses, had a beautiful family, had drive the nice cars, had great jobs. And when we would go to their houses, brother, they would just
yes,
this is your house.
Yeah. Hospitality.
Peavy would tell me, he would say, this is the kitchen, the bathroom, here's the refrigerator. Don't ask me for shit. I'm sorry, excuse me. Don't ask me for nothing. Don't ask me for nothing.
So this ain't a podcast, this is a radio, this is the FCC.
Don't ask me for nothing. And he literally gave us the run of his house. And I'm looking at it like, you know what? That's what I looked up to that brother from that day on, and I said, this is how I want to model my life after these brothers.
No, that's it. What about you, love?
As I was thinking, different men throughout my life, what are some of the things that kind of stuck with me that, that really, they may not thought I heard them, but I took it to heart. My Uncle Roy used to always say to me, man, quit smoking a joke, quit playing, get serious, work hard, go to college, man, because I don't want you to have to go out to like an A.O. Smith factory and work as hard as I'm working. You have better opportunities. So my uncles had a very direct influence on my life, because they were just about business, and own your home. You take pride in your home. Strive to have the best looking house on the block. So when I bought my house, the homes that I live in, that curb appeal. I want it to be pristine, because I want my Uncle Roy to come over and validate it and say,
so that's what I'm talking about.
Man, this is nice. So that means a lot. But then also I think about my basketball coach. I played for Custer High School, and everybody know that throughout my life I struggle with weight. That's just my nemesis. And so I was just determined to make the team my senior year. Last year, never played, and I just asked for a fair chance. And I made the team, and he rolled me hard, very hard. And then one day I'm like, oh, Mr. Brazil, why you be on me? He's like, Luckett, let me tell you something. When I stop riding you, that means I don't care.
And see, that's what some of the brothers need to hear. Like, if I'm on you, it ain't because I'm just trying to be on you. It's for a reason. And Derrick already know the story I'm gonna talk about, because this is his brother named Marcus Weather. He was a basketball prodigy, especially even more in his mind.
Right.
And he was good, though. Don't get me wrong. He was good.
No, really good.
But let me finish this. And so, that right there, it gave me a perspective that, the people that you care for and really love and have an interest, you stay on them. You stay on top of them. So as much as and I always tell my kids is that, when I stop riding you and being on you, that means I don't care anymore. And so as long as I'm riding you and trying to correct, I want you to be the best version of yourself. And then I think, Dr. knows, you did Whitewater. Now I'm in college, and just his presence and him, the first week on campus, a college where had a meeting where all black students, were summoned to the auditorium, and he said, look around. He said about half of y'all won't be here in the second semester. Then he said, look around. He's like, maybe the other half won't come back next year. And I'm, not to say that, you're going to still have some other freshmen coming in, but man, that terrified me, that, as quick as you're here, as quick as you can be gone.
Yep.
And if you don't apply yourself, and so, he was the person for educator, but at the end of the day, I know it's all about men, but I have to give it up to my mom.
Oh yeah.
Because I always tell people, like, when it comes to being the hero of my life, she's my hero.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They always say like a woman can't raise a man. I said she absolutely can. I don't think one man can raise a man. Like when you talked about the 4 horsemen, it's like everybody, we all got holes, and it's like if my sons only get raised by me, they're gonna have every deficit I got. I want them to be better than me.
Right.
And so you want them to have those other people in your life, and it's not a jealousy thing. It's like, please help them to get that.
And then so when we talked about health earlier, my mom instilled health, throughout life, making sure that you go to you get your annual checkup, you go to the dentist twice, you get your eye appointment, and so that carry on. And so and like I say, weight has been my struggle in life, but at the end of the day, I've always been in good health because I always managed my health from a broader perspective, and that's those things that was instilled. And so I would just say to anyone, make sure you don't, as an adult, make sure you go for your annual physicals. Make sure you go get your eyes checked out.
So asking all y'all, when did you first know, man, I got to go get my colonoscopy, I got to go get my prostate? Like, was it something that had been ingrained in you, like with luck, or did something happen, or
it was just by going your annual physicals, you learn, you educating yourself. Yeah. So it was flat. I remember seeing my profile one time in my late mid 40s, and my birthday was highlighted when I turned 50 today, and it was in red. And I'm like, what does that mean? And he said, well, that's the trigger me that it's time you start taking your colonoscopy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, okay, tell me about that. And that was the education part of
For me, it was just a matter of just educating myself on the medical advances that that's going on in the world today. And I understood that early diagnosis could save your life.
Yeah.
And I remember when we graduated from college, obviously as a young man, you think yourself is going to be invisible and nothing's ever going to happen to you. But I want to say for me, in my 30s, I began to go to the doctor every year, take my health kind of serious. And then I married. My wife is a nurse practitioner, so there again, you got that health education, in the household, and she's making sure that I'm on top of everything. But I will share this with everyone on the radio is that, back in May, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and what helped us catch that was me being aware that one, if every man lives long enough, the chances of him getting prostate cancer is about 99%. So it's just a matter of fact.
That's one of the things we got to hear.
Yeah, you're gonna catch it. So I remember going to the doctor, and my PSA levels was rising every year. It was rising, and then one year it got above 4. And I always tell you, if your PSA levels get above 5, start to get concerned. Have that conversation with your doctor. And so mine got to about 4.5. And when it got to 4.5, although we was checking my PSA levels every year, that 4.5 concerned me. It concerned me enough to say, hey, doctor, I don't want you to check my PSA level every year. I want you to check my PSA level every 6 months.
Yeah.
And that very first 6 months that came up, it went from 4.5 to 4.8. Now these doctors are like, we better start doing a deeper dive. And sure enough, after that deeper dive, I was diagnosed with cancer. And it was through me and diligence of saying, hey, let's look deep into this, that we were able to catch that. And we caught it such an early stage that nobody was really concerned about it. And so I did my treatment. I'm at the last end of my treatment right now. I'll be done in July or June. No, I'm sorry. I'll be done in January. But God is good.
Yeah.
But God gives you the ability And the know-how, you just got to follow his lead. You got to do your checks and balances, and you have to put your own health first.
No, that's real. Caller, we see you, but D Wash, I know that's hard to come back to and whatnot like that. But what's your story?
Well, if just for me, I'm 66 years old, so
Still do 50 push-ups every birthday. Hey, I'm for real. Hey, real talk. Every birthday, I look for you to do them push-ups because that's how I know. I say he's still good. Like when I don't see you do those 50, that's gonna hurt me, because I'm gonna say something's going on.
Yeah, and so for me, I go every 6 months now, because of family history and things of that nature. I tell people, I see I can see in the mirror what I can see.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's
going on inside.
Yeah.
And so it's important for me to go every 6 months. So my doctor, the one I have now, the one I had before, I'm on the 6-month plan now.
Yeah.
Checking everything. So
see, I done put something in my head now because I knew to get a colonoscopy because that's what got my dad. My dad died when he was 58. And so I've been taking colonoscopy since I was 32.
Wow.
And so I would go in there because it was just like they say, it came fast for your dad. And he said, by the time it come, he said, the first 10 years, you don't know. Then the next 10, it can go. And I was like, I'm close to 58 now. And that number still is, ticking in my head.
How old do you have your colonoscopy?
Now I have it every 4 years because of that. I've never had any polyps with any type of growth or anything like that, or a benign growth, but it's still, that thing that stays in your head. I know we got a caller on the line. Caller, you got a comment or a question?
Good day, fellas.
Good day.
Good day.
This is Rick calling you long distance from Germany.
How to see you? I hear you, Rick. What's good?
I just want to say that some people believe if they're eating chicken, they're doing okay. If they're eating pork chops and pork roast, they're doing a little better. And if they're eating steak and beef roast, they're on top of the world. But I would say to you, as somebody suffering from a CIA intestinal parasite, that if you reduce the meat that you're consuming, you will not only improve your quality of life, but you will improve your length of life. I'm done, fellas.
No, hey, I appreciate that. And as we kind of get ready for a commercial break, we talk about the number one reason for death in men is cardiovascular. And that goes directly into what we eat. You're talking about the blood pressure and everything of that nature. Number 3 reason why men die, accident. Because we live a higher lifestyle, but inside of accidents, they put suicide and homicide. And so when we start to think about all those things, y'all keep listening. We're going to come back on the end of the break and we're going to talk about what it takes to be safe, what it takes to insulate yourself with good people, having people like Rick call with information, both the Ricks from Germany and Milwaukee. We got a lot of information. Hey, listen, we just talking about what we got to talk about as men to make sure that we stay healthy and happy for our families. So join us on the other side of Nyumba Upendo, WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. mic going on
Man.
the whole time.
I know.
Jermaine been kicking knowledge, holding stuff back, just being
Back to
stingy.
knowledge, right?
And I think that's what we talk about when we had these conversations. You know, one of the things the shows we have on here is every Friday, I think every other Friday, Ebony comes on. She comes on with outreach, and they always have some different kind of medical thing. So that's one of the shows like I listen to, because like you have a dental hygienist on, you talking about that. I said, man, that's where all of the stuff come from your mouth.
Yeah.
Like you got to do that. Then just being able to see, but learning about PSA numbers and all of that. There's one kind, well, it's two type of medicines I think that help. One is love. I think that's the big thing.
Mhm.
And that leans to the second. All three of you are married. So tell me, because Rick, you had kind of alluded to this, like your wife was a nurse, so she was able to give you some other stuff. But how has being married been helpful to your health?
I think it forces you to not only live for yourself, but to live for her. Because I just me personally, I just don't think a man has any business being by himself. There's just too much stuff out there, and for her, I mean, my wife is always trying to, even though I think I'm the best man that I can be, my wife is always trying to make me better than better, and she's always telling me or teaching me about how I should do things. And dude, I'm 59 years of age, and she is still. Now, Rick, you shouldn't say it like that. You know, you shouldn't do it like that. And you know, you kind of get upset about it, but then you realize
you look back.
She's
it's
only,
like he said,
she's
if
only,
I'm on you,
right,
it's because I love you. I want you to be your best.
Exactly. And she's only trying to look after me. And you know, I would say for us, my wife and I think our first 5-6 years was kind of rough.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have to sit back and you have to realize why is this marriage rough? What is the problem? Is it her? Or is it you? And a lot of times, if you really analyze the situation, it's you.
Yeah,
it is really you.
Yeah,
so you're being honest.
Yeah, you know.
I said it is.
Yeah, it is.
So it's Rick.
It is, you know.
We can say it's Rick.
So for me, I think my wife has done
Jackie is the
a
sweetest.
great job of
She is the sweetest.
molding me into a better man, a better father, a better friend, just a better overall person.
Hey, before y'all talk, I'm gonna tell you one of the sweetest things I saw happen this Sunday. And when Derrick won this award for Mega Man of the Year for Kappa Phi chapter, he came back and his wife greeted him with a kiss. And it wasn't like this crazy PDA, but you could just tell she was happy, she was proud, but it was just this love. And man, when I just saw that, man, I was just like, man, that's beautiful. And you never know looking from the outside and whatnot, but from that, and that was just the epitome to me.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this too, because I know Brother Washington, I know him well. And when he won that award, I looked at his wife, and his wife was like almost like she won the award. But that's what you want in your wife. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want. I mean, she was so happy for you.
Her joy is his joy.
Yeah, he's got a good one. He's got a good one. He's got a good one.
Man, I can't say enough, man. You know, that's my best friend, and you know, we've been friends for quite some time, but we got married on October 10th, 1992.
All right, 92, that's a good year.
And it's been
33 years of beautifulness.
Man. You know, on the health side, you know, the love side, she's the rock of our family, takes care of it. Everybody calls her when everybody sick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, she great information. It's a great nurse, been doing it. Don't be mad at me, lovely, but I think it's 40 years easy, man.
Yeah.
Something like that. But she's just amazing, man, in my life, man. All of my accomplishments since 1992 attributed to her, man. You know, she's allowed me to be me.
Yeah.
Allowed me to do what I do. And she cheers for me. And thank you for that.
Yeah.
She cheers for me when I accomplish something. So it's
man,
emotional. I get emotional.
When I saw your kids, it was beautiful,
Yeah.
man. It was like nobody else was in that room.
Yeah.
It was just your moment.
Yeah. It's beautiful, man. So
you know, I think I have the best wife. So,
yeah.
but you know,
to put up with you, Tammy, you again.
You know what's so crazy is that you know, she has a daughter, only child. I'm an only child. And so, you know, so it takes a special type of person to have, you know, to deal with people who's kind of strong-willed minded and, you know, it can kind of Rick say selfish, but I can honestly say, you know, she makes me a better person.
Yeah.
She's my voice of reason. You know, it's like you know, brothers know I can pop off at the drop of a dime.
No, not you.
And,
Yeah, right.
Look.
and man,
Hold on, man.
Cat mother.
oh my God, and the thing about it is, it's like she just stay on me about, just breathe, stop, these are people that you say you love, and because she's loving, and so from that standpoint, she makes me a better person. She balanced me out. Whenever before I pop off or say something, sometimes I'll go to her and say,
so what you think about
what you think about this? And she'll look at me and I'm like, I'm glad I asked you. But at the end of the day, as it relates to my health, as men, we can be prideful. We don't want to show anything. We want to be superhuman. But when it comes to a point where she can notice that you're off, and then she asks you what's going on, and then you can be vulnerable and say, well, this is going on.
And then it not be thrown back at you later,
right,
too.
Right, exactly. But as far as health, it's like, man, I'm struggling with this. Well, you need to go check out. Did you call? Did you do this? Did you do that?
Stay on top.
So she's staying on top. I think I'm pretty good about managing things, but she's excellent with managing things. And so it makes me have to kind of be a little bit more humble, and that's cool because I trust her.
Yeah.
Listen, we coming down. Let me get that Andre 3000, Jermaine. Let me get that lower. And this is a time where we put on that. Oh, it ain't coming through. Okay. Listen, this is the time though where we come like to those last couple minutes where we just say, hey, what's the last gem? So Byron, I want you to get your mind ready. Jermaine, you've been spitting stuff just like what's that one thing where you say you want the listening audience to know, some young brother who listening, or even an older brother that's listening, where you say you remember nothing about this, something I said, or something you didn't say that you say I got to get this out. Well, I go ahead, brother Washington.
I got it right here.
All right, look at it.
Yeah. Brother, I'll just say this for time's sake. Brother, you're on my mind, not by accident, but because your life has purpose. Stay encouraged. What you carry matters.
All right,
Look at that.
For me, and this is directed to the younger men out there who don't like to take advice. When you're making a tough decision, seek advice. Seek counsel. If you're a Christian, seek good godly counsel. If you're not a Christian, I would say seek counseling that's someone that's above you, because a lot of times we don't want to, or when we ask for advice from those who are on our same level. And basically what you're doing is you're basically getting someone to agree to what you want to do. And you want to get good godly counsel that doesn't necessarily agree with what you're doing in your life. And that's the counsel that you need.
Look.
Well, I would say, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the works of the Lord, for your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Just stay, if you have a dream, if you have passion, if you want to, whatever you want to become, just be steadfast. And another scripture says, and let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not.
Amen.
Just stay committed, stay focused. Don't get weary when you're doing well, because your due season is coming.
You don't know how powerful that verse was.
Amen,
I say what I say always to end. What my maternal grandmother taught me: the best way to heal yourself is to help others. So find a way to reach out to somebody, show them some love. As my man Darian Luckett would end when he was the president, he said, I need you to survive. Milwaukee, we need each other to survive. Make sure you get a hold to people who you love and let them know. That's why we call this show Nyumba Upendo, the House of Love. And all we're going to do is keep loving on you, Milwaukee. We're going to see you next week. WNOV 860 AM 106.5. See you later.